Sorry, yeah, boys. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Footy with an Edge. Unfortunately, my microphone was muted, so I didn't realize I wasn't talking. But anyways, here I am. I hope you guys are doing good this Tuesday, January the 2nd or 20th. Wow, the 2nd. No, it's not the new year anymore. We're well into it already, and hope everyone's doing well. Bit of a lighter show today in my mind because there's not really much to talk about. You know, when you're not playing in the Champions League, I guess that's something we could talk about. But I won't get into the failings of last year. The first thing that I really want to dive into is kind of this conversation around this clause inside of Casemiro's contract here. Now, it's not like it was revealed, I believe, earlier this week, and I just wasn't sure if whether or not this was ever revealed earlier or was something that we knew of earlier. But anyways, he has a clause where there's a 1-year extension if he actually has 35 starts. Now, this would matter to me a little bit if it wasn't for the fact that let's just do some math here. He's already started 19 games. We have 16 games left. 19 plus 16 is 35. So if he was to start, let's say, every single game from now until the end of the Premier League season, then that's the only way that he's triggering that automatic 1-year extension. That being said, those are 35 starts. We are going to have to expect that he doesn't get hurt, doesn't get injured, or, anything like that. So, yeah, just as a kind of like as a heads up, I don't necessarily think it's going to be super feasible. I mean, come on, guys, we're dealing with Ineos and the Glazers here. I'm sure they're going to, and by the way, this is Jason Wilcox too, right? He's probably going to tell Carrick that, hey man, if you really want the job in the summer and you want to become made permanent manager, you can't start him in one of these games. So that way we don't trigger this extension. It's kind of just how this club has been working in my mind. I don't know whether or not that's true. Guys, sorry, just give me 1 second. I forgot to connect the live chat. So I don't actually know what you're saying. Apologies. That was, man, I'm still making these rookie mistakes. I've been doing this for a little bit. You think I'd be good at it by now, but and judging from the comments that you guys had left in the last video, and also some kind of happening as well, you guys do think I am getting better and whatnot. So I really appreciate it as well. Anyways, that being said, let's see what it is that you guys got to say. It looks like we're stuck with Jason Smelly Socks. Oh man. And then also we're talking about Loftus-Cheek and Ndidi. We are done. Yeah. No, I fully agree. I think I don't think that there's much for us to be able to be excited about, at least this January, that is. But back to the Casemiro point, let me know what your thoughts are, of whether or not you guys are worried. I do want to know this guy's thought, though. Hello, welcome from Goa. How are you, man? You look like you slept real well today, or last night, I guess.
Yeah. I'm finally well rested. It's been a roller coaster for a few days, but I've lost my voice from the wedding as well, apparently, which I just found out. But good morning from Goa, guys. It's 8:30 in the morning here, and yeah, nice to see you guys again. Shaylin's been holding down the fort, and all you guys being mean to Shaylin in the comments. Okay, where's your Bugatti? Okay, that's all I'm saying.
All right, okay. That's totally fine. You guys are welcome to have your opinions. I'm not I won't hold it against you. That's all I'll say. But Andy, come on, man. Casemiro, Uncle Cass. I think he's had a redemption arc this year, if I'm honest. Would I mind seeing another year of him? I don't know. He's kind of got me thinking like it might be nice, but then the business side of my brain also tells me that like he's expensive and we just got to move forward and move on from him. So what are your thoughts?
Shailen, the problem as always is this isn't Man City deciding whether Fernandinho deserves another year, right? Because the parallels are there. Like Casemiro is probably to us what Fernandinho was to City. The problem is if we spend, like the board is going to look at it as if we spend 200K per week on Casemiro's salary, does that mean we have to buy one player less, right? And that's what I want to avoid. So if we can keep Casemiro and still go spend on the midfield like we were going to, then no problem with that. But
You know
if
what?
we're gonna,
That
yeah.
leads me to the perfect segue, actually, onto the next point that I was going to make. And maybe we can talk about this one for just a little bit here, which is around the fact that we probably are not going to see any sort of January signings. And I say this because David Ornstein in the Athletics deal sheet kind of reported today that, let me just pull the quote up so that way I have it from you here. But here's what he says: is that United are not planning to make moves in this window, so there won't be much need for him, as in reference to Michael Carrick, to have a say on immediate business. However, Director of Football Jason Wilcox would be foolish if he did not speak to somebody of Carrick's reputation. Well, yeah, you get kind of dumb not talking to the guy that you appointed as an interim manager about whether or not we are going to sign somebody. But that being said, right, it doesn't look like it's likely that we're actually going to go for someone. And I mean, it's kind of obvious we weren't really going to go for somebody because we haven't really been linked to somebody. I know some of the folks in the chat were saying that if we really are linked to like Wilfred Ndidi and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, we are done for. But I don't necessarily agree with. I mean, I do agree with him on the assessment of those two, but I don't think it's the right move from this board. It shows a significant lack of, I'll say, ambition, especially given the goals. But you've been separated from it for a couple of days. What do you think?
About Ndidi and Loftus-Cheek?
No, I just think about the lack of business. Like, was this? I mean, I know it was to be expected, but you think maybe we should try push for it, or?
Let me just say the transfer strategy is booty cheeks, for what it's worth. But yeah, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, right? I think. Listen, man, my expectations from this club are on the floor. Like you said, I've had 2 days of not that much United exposure, or 2 or 3 days of not that much United exposure. And I'm just sitting here like, is it even worth it to get any emotions over this club with the decisions we've seen them make? And listen, people want to be excited about Michael Carrick. People want to come in and say, oh, the previous manager didn't do this in 14 months, etc. Right? So the emotions are all over the place with this club. And one for me, like I've gone from anger to self-preservation to now being like, you know what? Let's be realistic. The club has shown us their cards, right? In terms of Ineos, we know how they're going to move in the transfer market. I think they said no to Manuel Ugarte, right? Ajax came in with a loan proposal for Ugarte, and they said no to moving him. I believe Xerxes is not going to leave now either. So I think this is firmly a situation of, oh, we saw what Carrick did in the derby. So let's just see what he can do till the end of the season. I'm pretty sure of that. I think what they'll do just for posterity, just bring in a midfielder that's like a body till the end of the season on the loan. And I would prefer Ruben Loftus-Cheek over Wilfred Ndidi. Now, I know, listen, maybe some people here who were firmly in the Amram in crowd would love for me to go in on all the people that are talking shit about him. But guys, we have to realize the train has left the station. right? So let's just keep up to where we are instead of where we were or where we should be.
Yeah. Mr. Oss13 in the chat goes, our club considers Mainu as a new signing, so there's no need for a new player. I think I agree, right? That Mainu is definitely a new signing, especially under Carrick. It's a bit ironic that that I think that way, but I think it is what it is. I do want to get your thought on this though, right? Because now we're going to play with a midfield three. Essentially kind of moving forward. And I think we've seen that in the structure that was set up, and a lot of the research that we've both done has around Michael Carrick has shown that that's his preference. So it realistically leaves maybe one flexible position for somebody inside of the midfield, right? Because Kobbie's not in direct competition with Bruno. I think now Bruno and Cunha have more of this competition going, especially for that number 10 role. And then it's Casemiro Ugarte in that number 6.
I think Cunha's going to be across the board, right? Cunha's going to be across the front 4 positions, and actually more for the striker role than for Bruno's role, is my opinion. And also the right wing role, because that's where we've seen him. I don't think we're going to see any competition for Bruno. 0.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I thought we weren't going to see any competition for Kobbie either, and maybe just having somebody that can kind of be a body in the midfield, because it looks like we're letting the likes of Toby Collier go back out on loan after coming back a bit, and also it looks like Tyler Fredrickson and I think Wheatley. I think is it Evan Ian? I forget what his Ethan Wheatley.
Ethan Wheatley.
Yeah, right. I think he's also going out on loan too. So doesn't seem like from a youth pipeline perspective, we're actually thinking of bringing somebody to help support, or maybe even just offer a different option to Kobbie Mainoo in that side of the pitch. But do you think, you think Kobbie can even stay fit for the next 16 games that we've got and be able to play full 90s?
No, I don't think so. I also think, look, the Derby win was one that gave anybody that wanted an answer to a question received it, right? In a positive sense. If someone wanted to be like, I was right about Kobbie, there was enough there to be proven right about Kobbie. If someone wanted to say, I was right about Bruno in the 10, they were proven right about Bruno in the 10. If someone wanted to say the squad is good enough to get top 4, they were proven right about the squad is good enough to get top 4. So it's hard to take the evidence of that and say that, that's going to continue for the rest of the season, right? Now, Shaylin, if we're sitting here 5 games from now, looking at the team saying, damn, we won all 5, that guy's got a haircut finally. And all of these things continued, then we're sitting there and thinking, okay, this might be something we haven't seen before. This might be the platforming that we were looking for, right? With these players that we weren't getting under Ruben Amorim. And I'm not afraid to say that. Like, listen, if Carrick comes in and he's 10 times the coach that Ruben Amorim is, then he's 10 times the coach Ruben Amorim is. I think my thought process is, if it's innocent until proven guilty, then it's good coach until proven bad coach.
Yeah, I think this is kind of where a little bit of my concern comes from, is that if we are going to start platforming players like Kobbie, and maybe even, I think Casemiro looked a lot better too, because there was less ground for him to be able to cover. And we kind of are saying, hey, our midfield is now going to kind of look a bit more of our stronger suit, but we don't have any of these, I think, covers or replacement. I'm just trying to understand, is why do Wilfred Ndidi and Ruben Loftus-Cheek even fit that mold of kind of this 8 style player that kind of just offers maybe an extra option on the bench? I mean, from my reflections, they didn't seem convincing at all.
So Ndidi's more of the Casemiro supplement is my thought process. Loftus-Cheek is more of the Menu style of player. So even in the two bad options that we're looking at, there doesn't seem to be cohesion, which is the concerning part. But look, for me, do I understand where those two players fit in necessarily to what we're looking for? No. I think what's it called? Is there a cohesive strategy from the club either? Because honestly, Shilin, I'm looking at the team now. Other than center back, I struggle to see center back and maybe one midfielder. I struggle to see a clear area where we can improve with a substandard player, right? With not one of the best players in that position. So for example, even in the midfield, like, you know, we're talking about, like, I think Baleba in the Kobe Mainu position makes us like insanely good, right? But a Loftus-Cheek doesn't do much. At center back, if you get us like a Senesi or like that type of player, I think that makes a big difference. But then if we're getting someone
Right.
who's like Loftus-Cheek level, it's not going to do much.
Right, but I mean, I'm not necessarily sure if whether or not we're actually going to go for a player like that. I think what we saw is that we had 65 million pounds for maybe a target that would open up, and you know, I think further in that deal sheet article, he kind of goes and says, well, if one of United's targets suddenly becomes available, they're you know, because another club is going to make a bid for him, they're obviously going to try and be in the conversation. Like, duh. It's the most obvious thing that you could do as a, you know, as a club you're looking to go after a player. So I felt like Ornstein was stating a bit of the obvious in that sense. It just seems like that there are no, I will say, I mean, I get that there's no short-term targets at this club, and they are only looking in the for the long-term future. But it doesn't even seem like that when they were doing this type of planning that they ever considered one of these players could actually become available in a January. And if I'm, I mean, if I'm honest, I think what I'll see is, or what, you know, if I can make a prediction of what's going to happen, we don't end up signing anybody in January, but we do something like we kind of did with Mateus Cunha, where we got him in early because the season for one of the teams kind of just, I think it was for Wolves, they knew they were getting staying up and staying safe, so they were okay to like let or have this conversation about letting Cunha go, and it kind of gets booked onto maybe this year's book for FFP reasons or for squad cost reasons, instead of like, you know, actually the next season's window or that summer. But I mean, Roberto, you know, I brought you in because I wanted to know what's your, you know, I guess what is it, what are your thoughts on maybe that path being a potential option?
It's a lot. It's a lot. I think, to be honest, I do think we're gonna get a body in. I don't think we're gonna, you know, kind of let the squad stay as is, only because we need the numbers. I don't think we're gonna pull anyone from the academy. I think maybe we saw that some of the academy guys that got a chance maybe aren't ready. Especially if we are to believe that we are capable of reaching top four. That being said, I think the targets identified are ridiculous to me, because then it's really just, we're just throwing away money at that point. I think we need to find sort of a middle ground. Like, there must be someone willing to talk for a position or a player that we could use with that has a value that's, you know, acceptable or in the range that we're looking for. I think maybe we need to look for a middle ground, which we kind of had rumors before Amarim left. We had a few rumors. I can't remember the midfielder's name for the life of me.
Ruben Neves?
Not Neves. I would love Neves, and I know that he's pushing, or it seems like he's pushing for a move to us. But a Brazilian, I can't remember his name. But anyways,
from Wolves,
I believe, yes.
So
João Gomes?
Yeah. So someone of that would be good, because, you know, they can make up the numbers but still actually contribute. When we're talking about players like Ndidi, like I just don't see how they would give us anything added over what we have currently. So I don't know.
Interesting. I think the you know, you might be mentioning this, Joao Gomes, as maybe a potential option. I feel like I could agree with it if only Wolves wasn't just starting to turn around their season a little bit.
Yeah,
Actually starting
that's
to
never
play a
happening.
little better. Now they'd have to go on a pretty insane run, right, in order to be able to get out of that relegation zone, because I think they look
I think
pretty,
Wolves is staying up, by the way. I think Wolves is
Really?
staying up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
Because
well, I mean,
Burnley,
go ahead.
yeah, so I think Burnley is firmly one of the worst teams. I think West Ham will see. I think Thomas Frank is making West Ham look better than they are. And then we'll see. I think one more club that surprises us by going down. I don't know which club that will be, but I think there's a good
So-
chance Wolves stays up.
So let me tell you what okay, they've got 16 games. Like, everybody has 16 games left to play, all right? I'll give you the bottom 5. Leeds United with 25 points. Nottingham Forest with 22 points. West Ham United with 17 points. Burnley with 14 points. And then Wolves with 8 points. So they have lost literally 16 games. They've lost as much as we've got next. But you know, the ironic part is, Andy, they're playing Manchester City next. And Man City today, well, today for us, yesterday for you, had a glorious defeat to Bodo Glimt in the Champions League. 3-1.
Yo, what? I didn't even see this.
Yes, you didn't
Wait.
see it?
So City,
Okay.
hold on. City lost to Bodo Glimt, and Tottenham beat Dortmund 2-0. So 2 results that we've never seen coming. But that's crazy, man.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Maybe it's if they, you know what, if they beat Manchester City, I think they could win. They definitely play in the way to be able to beat them. But they definitely could stay up then. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. Could
You know
we
what I
not
would
see
love,
Michael
though?
Carrick?
You know
Yeah,
what I
go
would
for it.
love is that Wolves stay up and Nottingham Forest fall down
I was
into the
thinking the same
relegation
thing.
zone.
Yeah,
And Elliot Anderson suddenly becomes a whole lot cheaper than 100 million.
yeah.
So,
You know what would be funny if Forest get relegated, right? Because that owner deserves every bit of it that's coming his way, and then West Ham also get relegated, and both Nuno and Marinakis are in the championship, looking at each other with the Spider-Man meme.
here's an other crazy stat for you, okay? Other crazy stat. You're gonna love this. This is from the chat, and it is true. RSV7 goes, Wolves have more wins than Man City and Liverpool in 2026.
Yeah,
Which
not surprised.
is
Also, our draw against them doesn't look as bad as it does now, does it? I'm
no,
just saying.
especially
I mean,
on their
it's so
upturn.
bad. In my
No,
opinion.
my point is, Roberto, we could have lost that game. And we probably should have lost that game, right? Because we were totally not at it.
Yeah.
But anyways, listen, a lot of teams will struggle to get 4 points from Wolves this year. So watch this space.
Valid. I think so. I think so. I mean, it wasn't just Andy. I think you need to maybe take some time and do a little bit of a hate watch with Rishi. It'll cleanse your soul. You know, and especially while you're out there and Goa and things like that, right? Cleanse your soul a little bit just to watch him. And Bodo Glimt, like, convincingly, like, actually ended up beating them. It didn't feel like City were. You know,
I'm just telling Rishi right now. Hold on, Rishi. Did
Yeah.
you know Man City lost to Bodo Glimt in the Champions League? Yeah, and on the same match day that Tottenham won a game against Dortmund.
Oh man.
Yeah. Anyways,
Guys, actually, Nightwing has some breaking news for us. Okay, it is Ineos has 3 big incoming signings coming inside of January. I want you to name them. Who do you think they are? 3. This is insider news. You know, I'm gonna bring on Hoff as well. But Andy, who do you think are the 3 incoming signings?
3 signings.
Yes.
I don't know, man. Kobe Mainu, Ugarte, and Whoever else wasn't playing that much under Amram.
No. It's Brian and Boom Ahmad Diallo and
Oh yeah,
Mesroud.
okay. Okay,
All
yeah,
the
there you
AFCON
go.
players,
Yeah.
they're back. But yeah.
Incoming as in their flights are incoming.
Yes, exactly. Hoff, how are you doing, man? How's it going?
Yeah, good man. Can't really complain. Almost a 30-degree day here in Sydney, so it's pretty sunny, just chilling out.
You and me both, brother. You and me both.
We
I was
had
actually,
almost that, but the other way in negatives.
Yeah,
Minus
like
25.
cold.
it was hailing all week last week, so we deserve some sun. But nonetheless, on that signing portion, I actually saw something super interesting and super like conspiracy theorist on Twitter as per usual. The same agency that has Kobe Manu, the same agency that has Anderson, also has Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who we've been getting linked with. So if we're going down the route of like how Ten Hag was doing his agency SEG stuff, and we're prone to doing that in the past, are we trying to loosen up a deal for Anderson in the summer by getting one of the agency compatriots in Ruben Loftus-Cheek in? I don't know. That's a bit of propaganda for you guys.
Man,
I mean, but
Hoff.
wouldn't Anderson wouldn't we then have 3 players that are competing with each other for the same position from the same agency?
No, because I think Anderson would come in as a box-to-box to replace Casemiro alongside Kobe Mainu, and you have RLC off the bench because Ugarte will probably be going, unless we have Sika
No,
Kone in the mix.
but
We looking to
Casemiro
loan
isn't the box to box though.
But no, sorry, he'd be the 8, but I think it'd be too long. I think it'd be someone that's sitting, someone's ahead. So I think Anderson would be an 8 that would be going up and down, and then Kobe would be advancing more, similar to how we saw in the City match.
I think you mean 6, right? Not 8.
Well, 8's box to box, 6 is a pure sitter. But I think
No.
Anderson can do both. To be honest,
I think he's talking about that 8-8 thing. Are you? I don't know, Hoff. The 8-8
well,
that
we
Pep
played
Guardiola played?
4-2-3-1, right? In
Yeah.
the City game, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. And out of possession, in possession, it was almost a diamond up top. So I think we have that 4-3-3, and then or whatever formation we played, and then we have 2 sitters and we have a 10. And I think Anderson's one of them, and Mainu's one of them if he comes in. I don't think there's one designated 6. I think there's one that'll play ahead of the other, and they'll interchange.
Anyways,
Sorry.
yeah, okay, so
All good.
What are you guys talking about?
We were talking about the lack of no signings because and the fact that none of us really expect there to be, or at least I don't expect there to be. Roberto does. He thinks we're going to get at least one player because of the fact that we need a body. But I don't really see a target being coming available. So I don't know, Hoff, you're into conspiracy theories on Twitter.
I was talking more about in the summer, not in the January. I misunderstood, guys. No, there's nothing. I don't think we're getting nothing in January, to be honest. If anything, it'll be just some sort of maybe a 6-month loan to the end of the season. I saw Neves was getting linked, but not too sure, to be honest.
I would take Neves, by the way. I think Neves is a good player for like in lieu of Casemiro. He's also a smart player. I think he's got actually out of all the players we've been linked with, he's the only one that could take away some of the creative load from Bruno Fernandes because I think he's a really good passer. He's really smart. He reads the game well. He doesn't necessarily add more legs over Casemiro, just like maybe a tiny bit more occasionally, but he does give us a decent amount of physicality, gives us a decent amount of reading the game, and also some of the creativity. Because Ruben Loftus-Cheek, not very creative. Wilfred Ndidi, not very creative.
Hoff, I need you to answer a question. Okay, this is from Ayush in the chat. He goes, WTF is this agency ? A Ferrari dealership? We have to buy 1 to 2 shit ones before we're in contention to get a really good one.
Man, realistically, you'd be surprised how the footballing world works, man. I've seen weirder things. But if I'm not mistaken, the agency, they're called Stella, CAA Stella. And like they're a whole bunch of people. Like I think off the top of my head, it was like Kanate, Camavinga, and Grealish, along with Kobe Mainu. some of the guys they're agents for. And I don't know. I just think because of how it went down under Ten Hag when we were literally just signing everyone that was from SEG, I'm not putting it past the club to have that sort of kind of strategy in terms of sweetening deals and stuff, especially for someone like Anderson in the summer.
Hold on. That's also but whoever asked that question, was it Ayush?
Yes, yeah.
Ayush, this is how the football world works, bro. Like agents run the show, right? I once spoke to somebody that owned a 4th division club in Spanish football, right? I knew somebody that owned a club there, and they're like, you know, on a bad year making $1 million in revenue, in a good year, if they make it deep into like some cup competitions, like whatever, the Spanish FA Cup, they would make like $2 to $4 million. And so most of the players they signed were on like free signing, free transfers and all that, right? Because they were like a different quality of player. And they mentioned that the agents would be so petty that if they didn't get like a few €1,000 of what they asked for, and we tried to negotiate them down, they would blacklist them from getting even free transfers. These are like failed 20, 21-year-old players that they're trying to get and pay like dirt cheap wages. And even those guys would blacklist them because the agents just wanted to be petty. So he was saying the biggest problem in running a club at any level is agents.
Wow, maybe we need to do an expose on that. That sounds like a great topic to dive into, the world of footballing agents.
Yeah.
Nelson, my man, how are you doing today?
I think you're on mute, bro.
I think he is, or maybe he stepped away to do something.
No. I had the wrong mic set up.
No worries.
Dude, it's freezing over here. Like, I just came out from shoveling, so again, I hate this. Discussing, I think what Hoff says is actually valid. Like, assuming, first of all, I don't even want to discuss Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's such a bad player. Like, he doesn't offer anything that we need at an elite level. He's a good player. We don't need good players. That's the thing. What Andy did say earlier, I was agreeing with, which is at the moment we need people who improve the squad, and he's just a body. And in terms of bodies, I would rather use youth players than him. Just genuinely.
Because, okay, Nelson, why don't you explain the reasoning there a little bit? I'm curious, right? Because that's pretty much what we're seeing as being the strategy from the club itself. So why do you agree with it?
First, Ruben Loftus-Cheek is injury prone. He was always injury prone at Chelsea, injury prone at Milan. That's one. Two, for all of his dribbling, he's not a good passer of the ball. And in my opinion, the only reason I know they've been saying the secret midfielder thing, like it's, whoa, we're going to get someone crazy, someone we didn't think about. That's them trying to say we're not going for any of the top targets, at least in the winter. And in my opinion, if you're not going to get any of the top targets, don't get anyone. Because that's been my issue.
Nelson, I've been thinking long and hard in my time off from the channel, the 2 or 3 days that I've been at the wedding. I think the only signing I want to give Ineos big credit for, the only one, is Patrick Dorgu, right? Because that's the one where they actually had to use their research, find somebody that was based on underlying stats, had the potential. They looked at the eye test, they looked at his physicality, and there were a lot of signs showing that he could fit in well in the Premier League. Now, did they overpay for him too? Fine, whatever, right? We talked about Senna Lomans also being overpaid for because they could have gotten him for a steal had they bought him like 6 months earlier. But I'm looking at Patrick Dorgu as the guy that has the potential to be the best left back in the league. And Nelson, you and I have said this for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a chance we go get a midfielder that fits the Patrick Dorgu profile by the end of the season or by the end of the window.
Like a young DM or central midfielder? Yeah, that is possible, but we also did bring in. We brought in I can't pronounce the guy's name.
Christian Orozco.
Yeah,
Orozco.
We've never seen him play. He might be one of those. Sekou Kone was supposed to be one of those.
He was 17. No, he was 17. I mean, like somebody who's 20, 21. That like a first team player somewhere who's not at the top level yet.
Obviously, they exist. There's like Al Worley and Trabzonspor. There's a lot of like really good young DMs or central midfielders out there. The problem is all the decent ones. Like, I think central midfield is probably one of the most scouted. I know Hoff said Hackney, but Hayden Hackney, who is good in the championship level, like he's still going to cost us a pretty penny. He won't be cheap. It's still going to be a Dorgu situation.
You think he's less than 65 million?
Yeah, but that's still expensive.
Right. I know.
for you know what I mean? Like, I think for central midfield, I know some people might disagree with me, but I think our current midfielders are actually so decent that to improve on them, look at what Andy said. We're looking at Baleba, Elliot Anderson. Those are one of statistically the best young midfielders in the league. So if you're saying those are our targets, if there's a hidden gem somewhere, they're still costing us 50 mil.
Yeah, but Nelson, why does it matter? Why does it matter how much they cost? Like, as long as it's less than 65, I think that's Shaylin's point, right? Because we've shown that we have that money available for Semenyo. And if there's anybody that's in the ballpark of like even close to Baleba or Anderson, then surely paying half of that, what it would take to get one of those guys is worth it, right? Because I agree with you. Like, listen, Patrick Dorgu, we paid like 30 million euros for him, I think. Yeah. With add-ons or whatever. And for me, at the time of what he had played in Serie A for Lecce, he wasn't a penny worth more than 15 or 20 million, right? Like a Brighton doesn't pay more than that for him. But we paid like whatever, 50% more for him. So that's just the market we are in as a big club. And we just have to get used to it. And it's not going out of our pockets. Like, I'm not buying a jersey anytime soon.
No. But that's not my concern, Andy. The concern is if you pay 50 million, it assumes this player's good. And Dorgu, the reason we like Dorgu is we see the potential in him. It's not that he's still good now, but we can still see he needs better decision making. But at 20, 30 million, we don't care. We're like, yeah, take your time. At 50, 60, you guys are going, ooh, every single bad pass, every single bad tackle, you'll notice it a lot more.
So don't you think the center midfield market is anyways like 10, 20, 30 million more expensive than like a left wing back?
100%.
Yeah. So yeah. I think at a central midfielder of that profile who has like the physical traits, but maybe not the decision making, very similar to Dorgu. At 50 million, I don't think anyone's going crazy. At 60, 70, yes, I think people are going crazy, right? So let's just look at it this way. Look at Buadi, right, at Lille. If we got him for like 50 plus 10, I don't think that's a bad shot.
Ooh, maybe that one I'm going to leave to you guys, because I think the switch up that we would have when he has one really poor game, which he does have at Lille, we just don't. We're not like
there's not enough spotlight on it.
Yeah. Once he remember the conversations, Andy, we were having with Dorgu at the beginning. We were defending him heavily, and that's a 20 million player. If this guy comes in and has one heck of a stinker, you will see that quoted price. Which is why, Hoff, I want Hoff to talk about Hackney because he's the one who brought him up. I felt like I jumped in. But what do you see in Hackney, Hoff, that you think would be an actual decent purchase?
I have no idea. No, I'm joking. So Look, with Hackney, I genuinely think he's really good. He's really good ball retention. I feel like he understands positioning well. I haven't seen much of him. I'm not going to act like some insider tactico. But I understand that he understands how to drive with the ball well, and he has a habit of breaking the lines. Yeah, he did play at Borough, if I'm not mistaken, under Carrick. I understand that much as well. But yeah, breaking the lines, driving with the ball, and just a bit of tactical nous. Like I feel like from the clips that I've seen of him, he has this understanding of knowing where to be. He still does get caught out because he's still young in that sense. But I think he's just an intelligent midfielder with a decent ability to drive who can pick a good pass. And that's really all we're asking for right now. We're not asking for someone that's like a Hal Neves who can break the lines and dribble 3 players and is technically some of the best in the world. We just want technically sound, good midfielders who can break the lines. That's really what we need right now. Yeah, that's kind of my understanding of him.
Because here's the argument that I would make, and I know it's disgusting, but I would much rather have like a Joao Gomez in this team than like some of the players that we could get for. I think the midfield is probably one of the it's the hardest place to hide, specifically in this league. You can't hide. Like Dogu can disappear by just being a great defender, not attacking at all. But in midfield, you're required to do both roles, and you would see it like immediately that the kid isn't good enough. Like, go on.
Sorry, real quick, just briefly. I feel like that would apply, but I feel like if you're coming from one of 2 leagues, being Ligue 1 or being from the Championship, I think it's a lot harder for you to hide in those leagues because there's such physically intense leagues that they really expose you when you're not able to cover spaces or things like that. So I think from those leagues specifically, adaptation is a lot better, and I think there are less people that would hide from the ball in that sense.
But we're only playing 1 game a week from now till possibly the end of the season. So how much depth do we really need for this season? Because I know people have been rating. I don't think Kobe tends to go. His injury breaks are usually like 2-3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks. But a month off without him, I don't think we really struggle. You still have Mount.
I disagree.
I'm being serious. You think so?
I think we're
2-3 weeks.
Not taking the midfield to the defense.
We like there's no. I know you're saying Mount, but like how reliable is Mount as well?
Oh yeah. Oh damn, yeah. I'm screwed.
Like we're
no,
really
guys. I think the answer is Bruno. Right? Bruno plays in the pivot. If Kobe picks up an injury, or we just play Ugarte there. But Ugarte, again, you never know what you're going to get from him. I do think just having another body is what they're looking for, Nelson. I don't think, like, for me, I'm just assuming the worst case scenario with Ineos every single time, right? And if they're telling us mystery midfielder, even for me to even suggest Buwadi is nonsense, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be Buwadi. It's going to be some guy for loan till the end of the season. And they're very much looking at it as like, we have nothing left to salvage necessarily in this season. We only have something to gain by Michael Carrick overperforming or the players doing the job, right? So they're not going to look at this as like, let's spend 60 and, you know how City were moving to get Gahey and Semenyo through the door because, we could go in the league again. We don't have anything to gain from spending like that. I'm just going to be honest, because listen, we can all get excited about the Manchester derby, but would we be surprised if we had a bad loss against Arsenal because the players didn't turn up? I don't think so.
I would personally.
I would be surprised if it was because the players didn't turn up, because they turn up, I think, in the big games. But I get your point.
You'd be less surprised.
No, but we've lost.
Standpoint?
No, but we've lost quote unquote big games, right, Roberto? We lost to City in the first game.
Right. I hear you. I just don't know if it would be because they don't show up. Either Carrick gets outcoached or we just are not as good and we're exposed against Arsenal. But I'm not sure it would be like for them not showing up or like lack of effort from what I saw from the City game. But I mean, stranger things have happened. I've been surprised.
I think I hear you. Listen, that's my expectation going into it. that they should be turning up. They should have some fight because they've had a huge wave of positivity after this game. But we have seen these players not turn it up when it's expected of them. And like, this is the most expectedly unexpected team there is.
Honestly,
You know, the one thing that gives me a bit of hope. Sorry if I was going to go ahead just briefly. The one thing that gave me a bit of hope and that kind of switched my perspective. For the first time, we were acting like a bunch of bastards. Like I feel like this is the first time I've seen in a long time, in a good few years, where I've seen like for example, I forget who it was. Someone got clipped on the left wing. We didn't get the foul. I think Dorgu got his shirt grabbed and spun around, and then Shaw came in, one knee sliding in and flipped Rodri on his head.
Yeah.
Like, dude, when I saw that, I was like, okay, it's not only that they're believing in each other and they're fighting for each other, like they genuinely wanted it beyond the point of, oh, he's past me. Like they're willing to dig in like that, and I haven't seen that in a long time.
Hoff, if you want to pull up an example, it's got to be Maguire on Bernardo Silva in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, when he pushed him down the
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of.
I was watching the fans react to Bernardo. It was so funny. They were all just linking it. It was the best.
But I actually
Also-
think if you saw the Arsenal game today, I only watched the second half a little bit. Arsenal benched all like their best players, by the way. Just and it's clear it's because of us. I think Carrick has
Bro,
been
Arteta's shitting himself.
yeah.
Arteta is shitting himself.
Carrick has literally put the fear of God on these guys. These guys are the fact that I saw Rice wasn't starting, Bjork wasn't starting. Who else? Odegaard wasn't starting.
Also, they've
dude.
won 7 out of 8 in the Champions League. I don't think they needed to do anything. So I feel like playing them all would have been stupid from him.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
100%.
No, but even if they had won like 4 out of 8, I think Arteta still benches like half his squad at least. Because he knows like winning the Premier League is much more important than winning the Champions League, especially after finishing second 3 seasons in a row. Right. So he wants to be the bride for once, essentially.
I feel like he's got that Unai Emery gene where he just kind of doesn't understand what to kind of implement, and then he'll just go full strength by accident. But yeah, go ahead, Nelson.
No.
for it,
I was just remarking on the sense that I actually mirror what Roberto is saying. I think we are going to show up, and the only thing that's going to happen is either the player quality on Arsenal's side just beats us, just because they do have physical monsters. They do have people with, like, Saka hasn't been that good in my opinion, but Saka against anyone on our side, it's going to be a tough game. I hate Trossard. If Trossard starts, it's going to be an issue. I'm hoping Eze doesn't start because I don't rate Odegaard whatsoever. Like, but I think Arteta is actually a good enough coach to play his best team against us. That's
No,
the
I
only
think
thing
he's
that
going to go on the counterattack. I think he's going to go on the counterattack against us.
Yeah, then you play Eze.
Arteta.
Then you play Eze over
Yeah.
Odegaard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Eze's
a
gonna play.
big Eze is going to be a problem. The way he drifts into space is so good. But hey, either way, I'm actually excited. This is the thing that the City game gave me. It gave me more excitement I've felt in a really long time. I haven't been this excited for games, I'm not going to lie, probably since like second season Ole or something. Like just because I don't know what's going to happen.
Nelson's on vibes FC.
No, I'm on
boys,
vibes.
let's
But
go.
no, because here's the thing, like, I remember we had this conversation and Ed and I were looking delusional when we were saying we're getting 12 points out of the next 5 games. Ed actually said 15. He's on a whole different level.
I thought we were going to get 9.
Wait, when did this game start?
Wow.
When did this game start?
The
Like,
five
when did
games were City, Arsenal, Fulham, and whatever
West
the
Ham,
next 2 games
right?
are. Yeah.
And
So
Spurs.
this 5, so we beat City. I thought we would lose to City and then beat Arsenal. And I still believe we can beat Arsenal because Slabhead, if we're playing a deep block, I actually think Maguire is perfect against Arsenal because he's a really good box defender when he doesn't have that much space to cover. Like he's really
also
good.
he's great in the air, right? Like
Great
all
in the
those
air.
set pieces. Yeah, he's great in the
Yeah.
air, and Martinez has the aggression. By the way, just I was just thinking about the Arsenal team. Doesn't Zubimendi remind you a lot of Martinez in terms of profile? Like small,
How?
left-footed,
I
right?
think Zubimendi's quicker off the front foot. He's got a quicker first step than Martinez. I think he has that burst of
Yeah,
acceleration.
but like the way their gait is, the way they're
Stature.
like they're smaller. Yeah, their stature, and very heavily left-footed, good passers at the ball. I just thought that was a decent comp. But I think, listen, Casemiro on his day is as good, if not better, than the midfielders that Arsenal have. Right, like that performance he put in against City was like one of the best I've seen him put ever in a United shirt.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
saying on his day,
And
Casemiro is better than Declan Rice?
I think so, dude. Like it's listen, hold on. It's not. I'll tell you what. Hold on. I'll tell you what. Like, no. I'm just saying. Like, any top player can outplay any top
that
player.
happens.
Like, listen,
Yes.
Casemiro has what's it called? 5 Champions Leagues for a reason, bro. Right?
Yeah.
He can pull out one game that is better than, like, you look at Bruno as well, right? Bruno is like 31. He's still in his prime. But Bruno was still, I would say, a couple years back, probably better than the Bruno he is now, right? Because he had more legs and he could do certain things. Maybe he has a bit more composure now than he did before, etc. But you look at the best 10 in the world right now, whoever that is, like Bruno can be way better than that guy, like on his day, right? So that's my point. Like Casemiro on his day can be better than Declan Rice, and then Declan Rice more often out of 10 games probably has better games than Casemiro. That's what it means to be better than Casemiro, so to speak. But anyways, I think our whole team, that's my point, right? Our whole team can be better than Arsenal's whole team, just like our whole team was better than City's whole team. And by the way, in terms of videos that live rent-free in my head, it's the Cunha, Bruno,
Bruno.
Luke Shaw, Cunha, Bruno.
Constantly on my feed, and I watch it every time it comes up.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And then there's comparisons to the Bermuda Triangle and Turkey being lost in it. It was amazing, bro. He got so much abuse. Like he's realizing which club is the bigger club just now. Because like there's not enough City fans to do the banter.
No.
And that is some sweet, like I'll say, social justice in action, especially after his comments. Like afterwards, it's like, oh, I can't wait to do this. I'm like, dude, what? Because you lost in a really exciting game or something like that. We didn't even end up winning the final. So like, as great as that Leon night was, it doesn't mean anything because nothing came out of it. So
do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like how Nana talked shit to, was it Lyon? And we almost got battered by and I was like, oh shit. Yeah, like, oh yeah, and the Matic spoke up.
Matic.
Yeah. So, but that's, you know what? Like, here's the thing: the Arsenal game is so unique because we haven't won at the Emirates in so long, and they haven't lost there this season.
I have a feeling that, Nelson, I think you're right, because this year we've kind of gone to, we went to Anfield and we won. I think that was a really big one. I think and I think we can probably go to what you're saying is to the Emirates and likely eke out a win, because I didn't see anything really convincing in that first game. I've been watching Arsenal as of late, and I just think every time that I see them, it's not that I don't believe that they don't have multiple ways to score. Definitely think they do. It's just they almost feel like they're way too afraid to lose, that we could capitalize on something like that.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
I agree with you there.
100%.
Yeah. No, I think we can utilize literally the same tactics. It's not gonna work the same way, by the way. Don't get me wrong. But like Zubimendi in that Inter game was instrumental in how they beat them. If you put some, Bruno would be perfect to just hound him, because Bruno doesn't stop, and that would be the best game to see how press resistant Zubimendi is. Because we just
if I may,
the whole time. Yeah.
If I may, on that point, Nelson, the clear benefit, and I don't, you could be the biggest Amram outer in the world. The clear benefit of Amram's influence on this team is that Bruno is a much better defensive player now, right? He knows how to put in the tackle. His defensive work rate has improved. His reading of the game from a defensive perspective has improved. So the defensive work rate that was required from him in a two-man midfield, now available to us in the number 10, just makes a huge difference.
His discipline as well. His discipline has increased quite a bit. Like you can see him comparatively to pre-Amram. I'm not saying that, you know, Amram was the be-all and end-all in this specifically, but I think him switching to that opposite position has taught him an understanding of when to go and when not to go. So instead of running constantly, there were a few times you'd see him cover his two right-sided men when he's pressing. He'd look to his left before running to the left side, realizing no one's there, and then rejigging the space, and then coming back into his defensive shape. So, you know, I guess that's one of the few positives that we got from Amarim amongst all the chaos.
I'd say also Ahmad. Ahmad also learns to be a lot more efficient with his pressing, with his defensive positioning, how to make his curving run to like block off space. So we definitely, I mean, there's tons of positives I think he brought, but these things are longer lasting, right?
Big Guapo asks, did De Ligt die? No, unfortunately he's suffering. He's suffering a back injury.
Say it so bluntly as well. I was like, you're gonna sugarcoat this a bit. Did De Ligt die?
I was like, I don't think so. I had to look it up just to make sure. No, he still plays for United. He just had a back injury, and that we haven't heard any sort of I'll say information.
You know what the problem is though? Like there's no updates on De Ligt ever. Like I don't hear, even in the press conferences, I don't hear people necessarily talking about him. Like I would appreciate
No, I think that is partially intentional for a few reasons. I have a feeling that when Marcus Rashford's back injury kind of, you know, when he was like forced to play along under Ollie, and quite literally almost carry the team in a sense, they don't want to face that same level of like repercussion, which is why they might end up being just downplaying the whole fact. Because Rashford came out and said that, like, you know, hey, I was playing injured that entire season, and you know, I don't think I'm ever going to be the same player again as a result of it. And so it's probably more serious than maybe what we
except for that one season under Ten Hag though, where he was playing for a contract. So, anyways, he spent too much time with Luke Shaw, so I respect it.
I don't know. Okay.
He learned the
well,
ways.
or who knows? Maybe De Ligt's giving Luke Shaw blood transfusions and keeping him fit. It could be a possibility, and that's why De Ligt can't play. These are, you know, conspiracy theories that we might find down the Twitter hole. Hoff, maybe. Yeah. But guys, it's almost been, I think, an hour or so. This is a little bit longer than even I had anticipated or expected, but it was a good conversation. We can end this off really, really simply. If there is one player that in this mystery group of midfielders, we've heard João Gomes, Ruben Neves, we've heard Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and we've also heard of Wilfred Ndidi. I think those are the names that have been loosely linked to us to some extent. Who would you prefer?
Ruben Neves.
Okay.
Neves for me as well.
Hoff?
I'll probably go realistic, Ruben Neves or Ruben Neves, as Nelson was saying, or Javi Guerrera from La Liga, if an unrealistic one, deep lying six, ping and ball.
Oh, but he hasn't been good this season though. Valencia? No.
Head got swiveled earlier in the season with all those contract talks, re-signed the new contract. I think that was probably a part of it. But go ahead, Andy.
I think my preference would be Kobe Mainge. To be honest with you guys, I think he's going to be the future of this club, and he, you know, every game is going to be that good, and we don't need anybody else.
I haven't heard of that guy. Where's the where'd he come from? Was it Carrington or something?
No, it's Stocco Porto.
Wow.
Yeah, born and raised.
I think you haven't heard of him. Kobe Boateng Mainge. That's who you're talking to. That's who you're talking about. Yeah. That's who you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. I hear he's a freedom fighter.
God.
All right, and that note, thank you guys for joining me today. Thanks for continuing to support the channel. Leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe, and we'll see you. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
See you guys.
See you,
Bye.
boys.
Yeah.
Yep.